Alright, so this morning I am going to share with you all how I make deer stew. I'm making it for my husband's birthday, for his birthday dinner. It's his favorite, and I made it for him his very first birthday we were ever together. And so this is kind of like a little tradition, and it has special memories for us. So this morning I am making it again. So here we go. So we have some deer stew meat right here that we have. Actually, this is fresh because we just butchered some deer yesterday. And so this is fresh deer stew meat. It's already cut up into the small pieces, as we cut it to be whatever size, that is preferable. This is the size we like. Of course, you could cut it smaller or bigger if you prefer. Now, so we're going to put some lard in here, a little bit of our homemade lard from when we butcher our pigs. So let me get that. Okay, so here's the lard. We'll put in there like so. Don't really need too much, but just enough so it doesn't, we don't have this sticking to the pan while we are cooking it. Okay. Now we are going to turn it on. There's a little bit more that just kind of fell off. Okay, so now we're going to turn it on to about medium heat. And now this stew, it is going to be in steps, of course. Now, if you had a lot of time, like if you did this, if you're going to do like this the day before, because I am going to end up putting this in the crock pot. I like to cook the meat before the crock pot, though. It speeds it up a little bit. You could put the raw meat in the crock pot with everything, of course. It would just have to cook, quite a bit longer, though. So we're going to have this for tonight. So that's why I want to cook the meat ahead of time. And then that way, when it's in the crock pot, the vegetables are cooking with the seasonings with the meat, but at least the meat is already cooked, right? So that is the reason I am doing it this way. And so right now, while the meat is starting to cook, and I will show you guys what it looks like here in a minute as it's cooked, I'm going to go and chop up the potatoes and carrots. And I have our fresh onions that we chopped up last year from the garden, and we put in the freezer so we can use them all winter long, for different meals and foods that we want to eat. And so I've got some onions out of the freezer, which I will show you, and I will go get the potatoes and the carrots, and then we will be right back. Alright, so back to the meat here. As you can see, it's cooking, and you hear that nice sizzling sound of it just cooking, and it's getting brown now. It's turning brown. It's not all the way done yet. We do still see some red, so it's going to cook for a couple more minutes. It doesn't take a long time for it to cook here on top of the stove before it put in the crock pot, because it is in little pieces, and it was fresh. It was not frozen, so it's just really cooking, searing the meat, getting it brown. And you do want it to be cooked all the way through, though, of the pieces, I would say. But since they're in little pieces, it is, just mix it around every so often. And, okay, so let's let this cook some more, and we will be right back with the vegetables. Alright, so here we are. We're back to the meat. As you can see, it's really nice and brown. Has cooked now for approximately, about 4 to 5 minutes. Well, maybe closer to 10, actually, I would say. I would say closer to about 10 minutes. But, you just do it, as you can see. You can tell when it's done. Right here. So now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the other ingredients that we're going to put together with this deer stew that we're making. So let's go over here to the table, and I will show you. Okay, so here's our diced up potatoes. They're just in kind of this size. So these were potatoes that we had grown from last year. So I just got them out of the first shed, and I peeled them, and then I just cut them into those And this is also preferable how big you want your chunks of potatoes in your stew. They can be smaller or bigger. And also here we have some carrots. I just took the both tops and bottom ends off, and then some of them are this size, some are this size. You can really do your preferable size for carrots as well. And of course, as many carrots and potatoes as you want. And then like I said, we had frozen onions. These were onions that we grew from our garden last gardening season. And now this is just a frozen ball of chopped, but they're all chopped up into little pieces. So this is going to go, that's a good amount for one stew. So this is also will go in it. And this is all going to go into the crock pot. Also, I do use beef stew seasoning. Even though it's deer stew, beef stew seasoning works magnificent with it, and it tastes wonderful. So even though it says it's beef stew, it can also be good for deer stew. All right, so here we're back to the meat, and it is done. So I have turned it off I turned the oven off now. As you can see, it's nice and brown. Definitely is cooked through the pieces, and it smells delicious, and it is ready to now be placed into my crock pot. So we're going to place it into my crock pot. I think first I'm going to add the potatoes though to the crock pot. So we have these potatoes. I'm going to place those in first, like I said, and then I'm going to place in the meat here. And this is just, we have two sizes of crock pots. This is my smaller one. See, like so. But we do have one that's about probably twice the size. But I'm not doing like a double batch of stew today. So just a single, just for me, my husband, and the kids, of course, because it's my husband's birthday, like I said. So just enough for us. Okay, so there's our meat. Now we're going to be placing in our carrots. Okay, like so. Next, now we're going to add our onion. Like I said, now that's a frozen ball of onion, pieces of onion, but it will thaw out, of course. But here, look at that. I just broke it into pieces, so that's good. Kind of spread it around a little bit. Okay, very good. Okay, get those little pieces into the edge off of your crock pot here. Okay, ooh, that's looking really good. Now I'm going to go get a little bit of water to add in with our seasoning, so then it has something to cook. You know, the stew can have some liquid to cook in until it starts making its own liquid, of course, and then it can cook in it. So, all right, so we're going to pour in the water and the seasoning next. All right, so here is our packet of seasoning. Like I said, it's just beef stew seasoning, but any kind that any type of, stew seasoning that you like, can put it in there. And then here is I have a quart jar of water that I'm going to put in here. I don't know if I'm going to need the whole quart, but we'll see. Because since it's in the crock pot, you don't want it to get dry, especially for stew. So, okay, so I about used it all. I had this much left. Did not use it all. So, okay, so now I'm going to stir this up, and then I will get the lid on, and then we will put this crock pot on. I'm going to put it on high, just because this, like I said, we're going to eat this tonight, and I would like it to get a good start. And so then I will show you that here in momentarily. All right, so here we go. Our stew is in our crock pot. It's not on yet, but this is what it looks like. I did add a half packet more seasoning. I like a lot of seasoning taste in my stew, so I just added a half more pack of that seasoning, and I did add 1 more cup of water. Okay, and then I stirred it around, and now it's smelling good. I put the lid on it. Here is my crock pot. Like I said, I'm going to turn it on to high. And it is a couple minutes after 10 o'clock in the morning here in Iowa. And I'm going to let this cook in the crock pot covered for till about 4 o'clock. So that's going to be about 6 hours of cooking. I will probably check it about in between here, probably about maybe 1 to 1:30. We'll just check it, stir it if it looks like it needs to be stirred, make sure it's not drying up, and then we will let it finish cooking until 4, and then it should be ready for a wonderful supper tonight for my husband's birthday, and he is just going to love it. So thank you so much for watching. Also, I can show you if you're I'm going to tie in a short to this video when it is cooked, and so you guys can see the finished product. But this pretty much, I mean, this is what it, of course, is what it's going to look like, but then the carrots and the potatoes will be cooked, of course, you know, a little bit better. So they are not cooked yet right now. So anyways, thank you for watching, and remember how many blessings God gives us every day and how thankful we need to be every morning that we wake up and we know that we are here to be able to worship Him, to love Him, and to love each other. Have a wonderful day. Bye.